Howdy. Thanks for joining me today by the fire. I was on my way home from Market Basket, and you know how you're taking a long drive. I gotta drive like 45 minutes to the grocery store, the cheap grocery store. I got one just in 10 minutes away, but I like to stock up, save as much money as I can. And if you're around New England, Market Basket is the way to go. But as I was driving home, you start to think, you're just sitting there in your car on these long journeys, and it like popped into my head. I'm like, let's do a video, and I'm gonna call it "Blinded by Your Side." Kind of a take on that cheesy song. But lately, I guess, if you've been watching what's going on in the world, right, the king has returned to the throne. The Savior has arrived, basically, according to a lot of people. And to me, it's just the same stuff that's always been going on. The same routine, and how people are blinded by choosing a side. And I want to focus in on the political situation, kind of put my 2 cents in the mix. I don't take any sides. I used to. I used to be a conservative because it's like kind of obvious abortion is terrible, welfare and all that just makes people like worse off, and then you're taken from side. Just to me, it was like pretty easy to choose a side when I was younger, growing up. And but now I see it all very different. When you choose a side, you sort of split yourself into two, and you're not whole anymore. You're not holy, as I see it. You're not perfect. Perfect just means that you're whole. Doesn't mean you do everything right all the time. It just means that you're not broken, in a way. On a side note, how when people are blinded by politics, you've probably seen people do the one eye symbol, the whole Illuminati one eye. And it just comes from, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, right? If the king can blind everybody to where they literally can't see, and hey, he's only got one eye, he sees more than any of them. So I kind of think that's where the one eye symbolism comes from. They chose a side. They chose to capitalize on blinding people and taking advantage of that. So they don't see clearly. They don't have two eyes. These people in charge of things, the way I see it, they've split themselves off. They're sort of like a different humanity. But I want to circle back and focus in on the hot topics of right now and how Trump got in, and the word Trump means triumph or victory. It all just goes back to how, man, these people have such a victory over humanity with their magic spells and their tricks. And how Trump seems to be one of their most powerful magicians. And how he's getting the people, the so-called patriots of America, to cheer on the police state, to cheer on the technocracy being built. Just the first few days, he gets in there, signs a bunch of executive orders, which I don't know if anybody really remembers when you were in school and they talked about a dictatorship. and how a dictatorship is when one man gets to just make laws willy-nilly. He just gets to decide what's right and wrong and make the law. There is no vote or say, which I don't even believe in voting. Voting is just wishing. You're wishing for something, wishing for somebody to change something instead of you changing it. But executive orders, I mean, they just give dictatorship a whole new name. And that's all, it's just how they do it. They just keep spelling, making new words. 1984 talked about new speak, new normal. I mean, it never ends with the tricks and the words being played on people. So, I mean, it'd be easy to, I could focus on what Biden did and how he's so terrible. And I mean, I just think that's all pretty obvious. Burn back better. Biden biting babies. The 666 that the Democrats stand for. And just the helplessness and emotional control that the Democrats use over their minions. They control their emotions. Just like the conservatives, but in a different way. But I'll talk about Trump and Elon Muskrat. And just how the billionaires class, right? They pulled out Larry Ellison. If you want to do a little research, look into Larry Ellison. This guy that Trump got up there to talk about. They're going to spend $500 billion on an AI database. And they're going to give you mRNA cancer vaccines now. Didn't that sound great? But and I'll show you the clip. I'll put the clip in to where Trump's talking to this. They present this Larry Ellison guy who was the founder of Oracle, which Oracle is just a database, like the original database framework and software back in the day, which came from DARPA, came from the military. Okay, they call them billionaires, and they're just part of a military operation, in my opinion. But so Trump's there, and he's talking. Larry Ellison is presenting this idea about cancer vaccines and using AI to find the cancer in people and make individually, specifically targeted vaccines in 48 hours. And it just did the most like insane, crazy crap. Like people are gonna do it though. I can't wait to see what happens. But it seems like that's what they're doing. They're building that infrastructure to poison people on just another mass scale right in front of them. But Trump is like, Larry doesn't have to do this. He's good. Like, why, and it just made me think, like, Trump doesn't have to do what he's doing. Elon Musk, why would he do what he's doing? Why would Bill Gates be helping humanity? These guys are all billionaires. Like, if it was you and me, we'd be off on a beach celebrating, living a nice life. Why would you drag yourself into politics? And they're like 70 at that age and do all this controversial stuff. To me, they're just con men. They've been con men their whole lives, and they can't escape. They're fake billionaires. They're fake entrepreneurs. That's the only reason they'd pull these guys out, like Larry Ellison. The dude looks like some devil trickster from Texas. I mean, look at him, listen to him. The way he speaks, it's like, wow, they've had him. It's like they pull these people out of the coffin and present them in front of people to do more tricks because they sold their soul here. But I'll play that clip now. so you get an idea what I'm talking about.
It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Great, thanks. Yeah, just 1 second. We'll finish up. But these are highly respected guys. I was shocked with Larry because I don't even think Larry does this stuff. You did a very good job for a guy that doesn't do it much, right? But he's so respected, and the group, and it's really an honor. But for Larry to be here and do this is very unusual because he doesn't do this stuff. He doesn't need it. He does, and you don't need it, do you? Huh? You don't need it. But I think it's an honor to the country. It's a great honor that this group, these are the top people, that they're going to do it, and they're going to do it here, and we're going to make it as easy as it can be.
So you can see for your own eyes and hear for your own ears, what these people are planning to do. And it's like some sci-fi, crazy, spending that much money to make shots that are going to cure cancer. Give me a break. They don't ever spend that much money to help nobody, okay? It's just, we'll see how that all plays out, just like the last time they did a bunch of experimental shots for people. So moving on, what happened at the inauguration was pretty interesting too. I thought the whole Elon Musk rat and how he started like glitching out in the middle of it. Like, I don't know, in my mind, he's like some clone or some AI. They've already done AI. They've already done all this crap they're telling you. They keep telling you the future's coming, the future's coming. It already happened in the past. And I think we're living in like a Blade Runner scenario to where there's robots around us, except they bleed blood and they have organs. They're just like you and me. It's just they're not actually real spirits. They're programmed, or they're recycled spirits that never leave, that like stay here. The Well of Souls idea, when somebody sells their soul and they're put in a machine after they die. They're, like almost like in Pokemon, how the Pokemon's put in a Pokeball. If you get that reference, I could totally see that being a reality, because we are pure awareness, pure consciousness. The best way to trap it, I guess, would be to trick it into something. But Elon Musk rat, and he does his whole Sig Heil salute. He's like glitching out. It's just all hilarious to me. But I think the reason he did the whole salute was to feed the left side propaganda. So now they can say, "Oh my God, it is Hitler," right? And then the people defending Elon are saying, oh, he's just autistic, you know, but the whole time they're just characters reading a script and playing it out to cause controversial discussions and divisions amongst the people.
But this one this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
Wonderful, meaningful endorsement in every way, and I was very proud of it.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
I've had it.
It is delicious, isn't it?
Okay.
Path to finishing the NDA this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Okay, Mitch.
Yeah, the battery died in the camera, but I was talking about Elon Muskrat and his whole Sig Heil salute, and how it's just there to cause controversy, to give the news channels on the left side something to point out and say they were right, they are Nazis, and then it gives the people on the right side you know, just more crazy stupidness to, oh my God, he's just autistic, oh, he's so silly. I bet they're just AI clones or something crazy. They're not even human. They don't act like it. They have no humanity if you pay close attention. It's all about them and their side and them defeating this, conquering that. So to focus in on this video and why I'm making it, people are just so blind right now because they chose a side. And it's just, from the outside looking in is the only way I get it. The only way I understand how the right side and the left side are just blind. And I'll put up a little picture of what I think of politics and what's actually going on. It's kind of funny. Now that I've got out of choosing a side and I realize I want to be like the sunshine, just shine on everybody. You know, I'll be nice to the bad guys, the good guys, whoever. It's like, I'm not taking a side here, okay? I'll be like water. And I'll just flow through everything and try to help everyone. I'm not taking a side. It seems like that's the entire problem with humanity right now, is blindly taking your side, digging your trench, and going to war with your own mind. You know, with ideas against other people, and they don't have a sense of the true reality of how they're being played off against each other their entire lives, so somebody else can gain and build the technocracy, build the police state. I said earlier that Trump's going to build the police state, and that the people that are supposedly patriots are going to cheer it on. It's just how this works. You have one side open the border, bring in the, they don't even bring them in. It's just these people are being fooled into crossing the border because they're going to get a bunch of money. They entice them to come in and invade the border. And it's so easy to just say, well, they're people and we need to help them. That's not what's going on. They're being used as weapons. So as they've weaponized all the immigrants, they bring them in, and now they're everywhere, right? You had stories of Venezuelan gangs, and I don't know how much that's really happening. But, I mean, anybody who wanted to come to America is here at this point. Terrorists, free thinkers, freedom fighters. There's a lot of good people that probably snuck across that border, too. I don't know. But the whole point of letting them all in was for Trump to come in now and create the biometric grid in America. He said land, sea, and air, like we're going to have drones on the border. We're going to have biometric scanning. And you're all taught it's to keep people out. It's to keep you in, keep you tracked and traced. So they have the one guy, Biden, bring him in, and then they have the next guy build the police state that they're dreaming of under the guise of the rule of law. Laws are just walls. Law backwards, W-A-L, wall. It's just a wall. There's all these wars going on, and they make another law to have warfare against you. We don't need laws. Common sense will tell you that you don't steal from people. I mean, as a child, I knew I knew the real law, the natural law that's wrote on your heart. But as they make more laws and executive orders, right, to just put up walls against one another, that's all it's doing. And it's really just hurting the average person the more walls they put up. But they've gotten the people to take these sides and build walls against each other and just be decimated and destroyed their whole lives and have their energy drained by the puppet masters. And probably a lot of people can't handle these kind of talks, and the world isn't that dark, it isn't that bad. The proof's in the pudding, as they say. No government is good. It's fairly obvious. They all have armies, and they all murder people when they want to take things. Okay? And then, it's gotten to such a point, it's not about taking other countries over. It's about maintaining control over the people they have enslaved within the country borders. That's all that's happening right now, is a more consolidation of power for the governments all around the world. All the governments are becoming more powerful as collectively the people are losing their freedoms and their right to travel. It's just unbelievably obvious to me. I was born into World War III. It's not a military versus military. It's the military versus people. That's what you're living in. Try to look up what SMART, S-M-A-R-T, what SMART actually means. Why do you have a smartphone? Why are they putting smart meters on people's houses? Why are there these smart cars? Why you got smart TVs? Why is everything so smart? SMART stands for Secret Military Arms in Residential Technology. I mean, your Wi-Fi devices, your cell phones, those things are emitting a pulse that hits your heart. That's why heart disease is the #1 killer in the world, is heart disease, because we've put up all of these frequencies that mess with people's hearts. And it would make sense that that's why they get disgruntled. That's why they go mad. and they fight with each other. It's so simple. I just heard a story the other day of a man who committed suicide, and then somebody who's kind of like me, who's looking deeper into things, is like, why? Because the guy was totally fine, right? And then all of a sudden, he just kind of starts losing it, starts hating things, and he kills himself after like 6 months of a deep depression. There was a smart meter on the other side of his bedroom. He probably couldn't sleep at night. He probably started getting the ringing in the ears that happens from these devices. And you're just told it's tinnitus, it's a medical treatment, and they're militarily attacking you every day, all day, and they've gotten you to put the weapons in your own home. I feel like somebody's got to say these things. I know David Icke, he still says it how it is. Jeff Berwick, Max Egan. Alex Jones, he lost it. He's definitely part of the PSYOP. Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Ben Shapiro and Tim Pool were just chatting together like they're all controlled opposition, whether they know it or not. They're part of the dividing of humanity. And that's what capitalism's really about. You divide people and you capitalize on the divisions. That's why this realm and all the stuff that's been going on, it's only starting to make sense now that I've had enough time to really study it. I would have never imagined this is what people do and this is what they live through in a place like this. Just a place overflowing abundance and beauty. And it's just been turned into such a nasty trick for some reason. But I bet the video's gone on long enough. I don't know, conspiracy. I'm just one of those guys. I'm into it. I see it, and I can't help but say it the way I see it. So, hey, I hope you enjoyed this one. I love you all.